Then what that vendor said, he has raised the debit note of 7.5% in say different month. Say January 15. Assume in January 15 he has raised the debit note. Original transaction took place in March 14. Debit note was received in January 15. So now my question is, in which year Messrs Honest Limited would be eligible to claim the set off for that debit note? In the month of March 14 by revising the sales return, or in January 15 since the accounting is done in January 15. Here to give the answer I would like to refer section 63 subsection 6. If you refer that section, what it speaks about, when there is a variation, the word is when there is a variation in sales price or purchase price, then you have to give the effect of that variation in the month in which you received your debit note or credit note and accounted in the books of account. Correct? This is the provision of section 63(6). Now, considering that provision, whether it will be applicable over here, in my view, here there is a change in tax rate. So, in my view, there is no variation in sales price or purchase price. So, section 63(6) would not be applicable, and according to me, you have to go back to the original transaction, that is March 14, and claim the credit of input tax. Another situation. Instead of 5%, suppose dealer has charged you 12.5%. Wrongly, whatever it may be, and paid to the government. So, the buyer has claimed set off on 12.5% because he has paid to the government. Now the AO wants to disallow the claim of set off to the extent of 7.5% and the goods are taxable at 5%. Whether the act of the assessing officer is correct or not. In my view, no. Dealer can claim set off of 12.5%. Though wrongly charged, whatever it may be, except there should not be forfeiture. At the end of the vendor, there are judgments. Ingersoll Rent India Limited versus State of Gujarat, 92 STC 548. Another judgment is Green Thumbs Engineers Private Limited, SA number 232 of 93, dated 15 February 97. Then another judgment is Adam Fabry Work Private Limited, SA number 1944 and 45 of 98, dated 17 March 2001. In that, every authority has said the tax amount collected is available as a set off, irrespective of actual rate of tax. So, in all the situation, even though tax wrongly charged but and paid by the vendor, it is available as a set off.
In the case there is forfeiture in the hands of the vendor,
Then it may create problem. Yes. 21. A main contractor accepted contract of rupees 10 lakhs, out of which he has subcontracted contract of rupees 4 lakh. Main contractor has paid under composition scheme. He has opted for composition scheme on whole contract value. Whether subcontractor can claim set off on material purchase, and you here in the case, the given case, total contract value is 10 lakhs. Out of that, 4 lakhs worth of contract has been given to subcontractor, but main contractor is discharging the liability on the whole contract, and he will give 406 and 409 to the subcontractor. So subcontractor should not discharge VAT liability to the extent of 4 lakh. Now, whether in the given case, whether subcontractor can claim set off on the purchases made by him in the case of that 4 lakh contract value, and whether assessing officer can apply retention on set off if main contractor is paid by way of composition tax. So according to me, yes, even tax was paid, because as per section 45 of the MVAT Act, main contractor and subcontractor are principal and agent. Their liability to pay tax is joint and several. Correct? So if one of the person has paid the tax, other will not be liable to pay tax on the same contract value. So here main contractor has discharged the VAT liability, so subcontractor should not. But still, subcontractor are entitled to claim set off on his purchases, which are being used in the execution of works contract. Now question of retention. Yes, retention would be there considering rule 53(4). So if you remember, earlier there were retention was applicable only to the main contractor, but there was an amendment in rule 53(4) on 1st November 2008, retrospective from 1st April 2005. So now they have included subcontractor also. So for both, retention at the rate of 36% in case of 8% and 4% in case of 5% would be applicable. But it will not be applicable, mind well, in rule 53(4) you remember, it is applicable to the corresponding goods purchase. But it will not be applicable to fixed assets, cost of the fixed assets as well as consumables. This you have to keep it in your mind. Total contract value is 1 crore. Out of that, main contractor has given contract of rupees 60 lakhs to registered subcontractor. If main contractor, again, in the same case also main contractor is discharging the liability and giving 406 and 409. So now my question is other way around. Whether, since main contractor is discharging on total contract value, though certain purchases made by the subcontractor, whether main contractor is entitled to claim set off on purchases made by the subcontractor or only subcontractor should claim. Other way around question now. In my view, see, there are no specific provisions, there is no bar. There is no bar that only subcontractor should claim the set off. As per considering section 45, since they are principal and agent and liability joint and several, even main contractor can also claim set off of the purchases made by the subcontractor. No doubt, procedural difficulty may be there, officer may or may not agree, but in further forum, you may be. You have to produce, you have to do all compliance, you have to produce purchase bill and all that thing and justify your claim. Now, will the answer differ if the subcontractor is unregistered? Here, there are two schools of thought. One is, if you look at Rule 55 of the MVAT Act, what it speaks about, dealer should be registered on the date of purchase. So if we consider Rule 55, he may not get. Other school of thought says, considering section 55, since they are principal and agent, since their liability joint and several, if one of them is registered, they are entitled. In case of worse contract, whether main contractor, instead of claiming subcontractor value as deduction from total contract value, can he treat the same as purchase and claim input credit under the provisions of MVAT law? I came across some of the consultants. They are treating subcontract value as a purchase and claiming input credit. What is the view? What is the correct position? According to me, if you look at section 42(3) and if you look at Rule 58, which provides deductions, there is a specific deductions given for subcontract value if tax is paid by the subcontractor. So according to me, when there is a specific provision, when there are specific deductions available for subcontract value, you should not treat as a purchase. You have to claim subcontract value as a deduction. That is one thing. Suppose if you go beyond that, suppose if you claim subcontract value as a purchase, so another question would come, since they are principal and agent, can they sell to another? That is one. Forget about that. Suppose you take it purchase, and if it is used in construction contract and converted into immovable property, then don't you think officer will ask or officer will raise Rule 54G would hit purchase by way of was contract which results into an immovable property, no set off. So there also problem would come. So considering the provisions, in my view, you have to claim subcontract value as a deduction. If you are doing other way around, taking purchase, so please rectify that. Dealer M of Mumbai effects OMS purchase from G of Gujarat. Instruct G of Gujarat to dispatch goods directly to V of Vapi in Gujarat on his behalf by way of endorsing LR. Whether 6-2 is possible, even into transaction, whether he can claim? No, because for claiming 6-2 there has to be a movement of goods from one state to another. Just don't simply, why I raise, don't, it's a very basic, but sometimes we may confuse with the address given on the bill. अरे एड्रेस तो ये अपना इधर का है और गुजरात में आपने कोई इशू किया है, but here to consider section 6.2 you should look at the movement of goods. That is very much important to decide 6.2 claim. Whether claim under section 6.2 is allowable in spite of the fact that original seller and the first purchaser are in the same state and ultimate buyer is in the other state. Suppose original vendor जिससे आप purchase कर रहे हो वो भी महाराष्ट्र का है और जिसने order दिया वो भी महाराष्ट्र और ultimate buyer is in other state. Whether 6.2 is possible? According to me, yes. Movement should be there. Movement should be there between two states. There are judgments. One is the Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited, Madras High Court 112 STC 300, and another judgment is Duvant Fans Private Limited 113 STC 431. It is also Madras High Court. See what they opine. It is not essential that the direction for the movement of the goods be can also be incidental to the transaction of sale. Thus, if the first sale effected by the supplier to the buyer is held as interstate sale, so also the subsequent sale and dealer can claim benefit under section 6.2 the CST Act. A electricity company has given contract for laying underground cables all over the states. These cables are the very item in which the entire electric services are rendered. The company capitalized the entire cost of laying the cable as a plant and machinery. If therefore wants to claim set-off on tax charged by the host contractor for laying the cables, which is capitalized as a plant and machinery, whether stand of the company is correct. See, electricity company has given contract for laying underground cable. It becomes immovable property, but it is a plant and machinery. So, even though it is hit by rule 54G, but what 54G speaks about purchase by way of host contract, which results into an immovable property other than plant and machinery. If it is a plant and machinery, though it is hit, set-off would not be denied. But why I raise this issue? Here there is a specific retention rule, rule 53(7)(b). See, in all other rules, if you are aware, in all other rules, the retention is to the extent of corresponding purchases, whether 2%, 3% or 4%. But under this specific rule, the retention is towards capital assets also. So it's a huge loss to the electricity company because the capital cost would be used. Correct? So it's a huge loss to the electricity company. So 2% retention would be there in rule 53(7)(b). A dealer has made purchase of rupees 3.5 crore supported with tax invoice. See here in 2014-15 dealer has purchased 3.5 crore goods with tax. Out of these, dealer has sold the goods costing rupees 75 lakhs at 1 crore. The balance goods, see 75 lakhs worth goods sold and 2.75 lakhs goods are in stock in the year end, and it was sold in the month of January 15. And during the said year, they are also having other gross receipt. Correct? The share profit and share turnover is there. So here it is a squarely a case of rule 53(6). What it provides? 53, if your turnover of sales is less than 50% of the total receipts. Total receipt will include all other receipts pertaining to Maharashtra. The word is pertaining to Maharashtra. So it is squarely covered by rule 53(6). So here this worth goods rupees 2.75 crores. In fact, they were sold beyond 6 months. And considering rule 53(6), you are entitled to get set-off of corresponding purchases which are sold or transferred to branches within 6 months. So So because of this wording, it is a huge loss to a genuine dealer. That's why I raised it is against the natural justice. Because in practical life, this situation may arise. So because of this provision, and in my view, right from beginning, my understanding was that these rules were actually meant for deemed dealer. This was my view, but unfortunately it is applicable in general. A tire manufacturer, see it's also a live case and it is in appeal. See what is happening, what this tire manufacturer like MRF or C8 or other company, say Bridgestone, what they are doing, they sold the car to the Tata Motor Company or Maruti etc. They give 1 year warranty, correct? So in turn that company gives to their customer warranty. But what is their modus operandi of all this tire company? What they do, if it is coming back, if there is a manufacturing defect and if it is coming back within 1 year, definitely they have to replace because it is under warranty. But even beyond warranty also, if some tires are coming back, what they do, they give the tire to the technical team, they test and they find out the resale value. So original tire value is 10,000 rupees and resale value of say 3,000 rupees of that tire. So they take back that tire, but while raising the sales invoice, what they do, sales invoice, sales value 10,000 less claim loss, they use the word claim loss or any other term, 3,000, balance 7,000, they charge the VAT, whether this method is correct or not. In my view, wrong. It is nothing but purchase and sales transaction. But there are judgments like Birla Tyres Limited. It is of 9 STC 2006, CA Tyres Limited 68 STC 53C, MRF Tyres Limited 99 STC 425. Here also the same situation is same, but what these companies were doing, instead of showing in bill 10 minus 3, they were raising the bill of 7,000 only. In that sales invoice, they were raising the bill of 7,000 only. So in that court, hold that since there are no monetary consideration received from the customer, no liability. A company is doing software development for developing it's a software development company. For developing a software, there are 10 modules. Say 7 modules they are developing in their in-house, and 3 modules they are getting purchased or getting developed from outside agency. So that outside agency charge VAT on that. Now my question is whether whatever VAT charge on that 3 modules by that party, whether it is available as a set-off or not. Here it's a issue pertaining to Rule 54F. So if you look at 54F, what is the word is, it is a negative rule. But in that also the exception is given. Okay, if it is exception is given if you are a trader in software. The word is if you are a trader in software, then you are entitled to get input credit. Now my question is, and my interpretation is, since the word is trader, if department or legislature wanted to give benefit, this benefit only to reseller, then they would have used the word reseller. But here they have used the word trader, it means trader term. Trader is much bigger than reseller. So it's not like that I have purchased software and sold, they are only entitled. But even I am a manufacturer, but still I am a trader. So word trader will include manufacturing also. So in my view, for that 3 module, I am entitled, this client is entitled to get set off. Under painting contract, when paints apply to building which was already being constructed, whether set off will be available or will it hit by Rule 54G. Here there are 2 views. My view says, okay, since immovable property is already in existing, just by applying paint, it does not convert it again into immovable property. So Rule 54G could not hit. Other school of thought says no. Since it is an immovable property, you are applying the same, it also becomes immovable property. So setup would not be available. It's a case of composition scheme. Say dealer is under retailer composition scheme under 8%. During the year they have sold the car. Now the question is, on that sale of car, because under composition we do sale minus purchase and on balance sheet we pay 8%. So here for sale of car, whether dealer will be liable to pay 8% or 12.5%, because car rate is 12.5%. So whether 8% or 12.5%. If we look at that notification dated 1st June 2005 pertaining to that retailer composition scheme, the word used is total turnover of sales minus total turnover of purchase. So in my view, even car sale would also include in the total turnover of sales. So for car sale, again 8% would be applicable. You can't separate or calculate 12.5%. ये इशू का तो सबको मालूम है आंसर. Recent judgment whether under composition scheme VAT would be applicable on service tax or not. Recent judgment, we all know technocrat, engineers, correct. Even prior to that also there were other judgments also. Bata India Limited, 53 STC 132, Anand Swarup Mahesh Kumar 46 STC 477. There also the court holds that no tax on tax. Correct. Now we have direct judgment. Composition. नहीं, it will include. Why it will not include? All sales means what? नहीं, but total turnover of sales will include everything. There is no exclusion. It is of goods. They have not used the word of goods. Total turnover of sales minus total turnover of purchase.
Furniture is not good.
नहीं, see, you don't differentiate goods and capital assets. Listen, turnover of sales will include your capital assets. We will debate. Let me finish because now time is short. Still I have to cover 16 to 17. Principal has awarded contract. So principal has awarded contract worth rupees 1 crore to main contractor, and in turn subcontracted for 90 lakhs. It's a very, very important issue. There are even cases are going on. See, total contract is 1 crore, and the same contract has been given on subcontract basis as 90 lakhs. Now, dealer has opted under normal method or table method. First question is, suppose dealer is under normal method or table method. So the question is 10 lakh. 10 lakh is the difference. से 1 करोड़ का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, 90 लाख में सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया है, तो 10 लाख पे वैट लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा? That is very big question and lot many debates are going on. कि 10 लाख पे generally if we forget about it, generally if we understand, then definitely 10 lakh में some portion related with the in general. Because आपको समझो स्टील का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिला है 100 रुपया पर टन, तो आप 100 का 100 में नहीं देंगे, आप 98 में देंगे, 98 like it is general, but considering low point of view, I would say for normal method or table method there can't be any liability of 10 lakhs. Why? One, there is direct judgment of L&T, Larsen and Toubro Limited, Supreme Court 17 VST 1, and recently, I think in last review I have reported in from the courts, it is of Surya Construction 83 VST 352. It is recently, just last review only I have reported that Surya Construction 83 VST 352. See, in both the judgments, what was the viewpoint of the court? In worst contract, the property will directly transfer from subcontractor to the principal. It will not route subcontractor to main and main to principal. That is one. It means single sale theory. Another viewpoint was, since there was no transfer of property made by the main contractor, there will not be any liability. So considering these two viewpoints, there can't be any liability, but department are not allowing you to go further for appellate stage. But suppose under composition, suppose the same issue